Hey everyone, today we're looking at the full armored Maitha, a unit that can divide opinions. She's obviously a unique character and the first unit that has this coordinated attacks, coordinated response, which is a whole new battle mechanic for the game. So full armored Maitha here, she's part of Sword of Convallaria. She's going to be like a new leader for this group. She's also part of Iria. Iria has, I think it's the most units maybe. And Fortitude as well, which is also a good camp. Some strong units as well. For Maitha's gear, I'm running a signature weapon. And Maitha is another unit that thrives off of her HP, so that's why I'm running the Fool's Tarot to maximize her HP. And the Hourglass is also a decent trinket for her. So if you take a look at this signature weapon of hers at 1 star, it's going to increase max HP by 5% and increase damage and piercing damage by 4% before the character's rally command skill triggers. Allies rally response grants the target Supreme Armored Assault 1. So basically once she does one of these responsive attacks, she's going to get this increased damage and piercing damage by 4%. This is what she gets with a signature weapon. At 2 stars it increases HP. And it's going to, at 3 stars, increase HP 10%, increase piercing damage and damage to 7%. And then she gets this Supreme Armored Assault 2 at 3 stars, which is going to increase damage and piercing damage by 7% again. And then 4 stars, increase HP a little bit more. 5 stars, increase HP to 20%, increase damage and piercing damage by 10%. And then you get the Supreme Armored Assault 3 for 1 turn, which is an extra 10% in damage and piercing damage again. I think a good alternative could be the newborn. Sorry, that's not even a sword. Yeah, it's confusing. This is actually considered as an axe, but an alternative could be the brutal axe for that extra HP. Even Camelot has a axe that gives him extra HP of 10%. This is just at 3 stars. So if you wanted to invest in a couple of these of Camelot's, his weapon will increase your max HP to 20%. Give you physical shields, attack up to, and some other effects. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. It really helps out a ton, and hopefully I can bring out a lot more of these guys in the future. So for her trait, she at 1 star, she has this thing called the Damage Buffer Module and the Sword of Convallaria Unite Aura. At the start of her turn, she gains corresponding stacks of co-op charging based on Damage Buffer Module buffer ratio. Gains 100 stacks if full until the start of the next turn. The character's rally command skills can trigger the character's rally respawn effects, and then she increases just a base increase of max HP by 10%. So let's go through all these one by one. So the damage buffer module that she has is going to be, it's a gauge. You can actually see it on her, a gauge with a max buffer value equal to max HP. So that's why you want to increase her HP so that she can get maximize this gauge. A certain percentage of all effects that cause HP reduction to her is transferred to the buffer value. When buffer value reaches the maximum buffer value, excess damage will still take full effect. A couple of things here that's hard to understand if they can only explain so much in a paragraph. But basically, when she receives damage, she converts that damage into a gauge, so a gauge will fill up. So that's as far as I understand. Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend I understand everything they're trying to say here. And then we have Sword of Convallaria Unite. Another aura she has is Leader Aura. So it's going to increase attack 10%, defense 20% for Sword of Convallaria allies and herself, and increase damage dealt and piercing damage by 10%. So a nice superior leadership aura that she has. She can really buff up your Sword of Convallaria teams. Then she also has this thing called co-op charging. Each stack adds 0.2% of the character's max HP to physical attack up to 100 stacks. So you can get a maximum of 100 stacks, which will increase her physical attack to a maximum of 20%. So this is where the gauge comes into effect. So if she takes damage, she's going to fill up that gauge, and then she will convert that gauge into these stacks. So her getting hit with damage just means she's slowly increasing her physical attack up to a maximum of 20%. Then she has the rally command. So you have this rally command and you have rally response. Now rally command, when actively casting skills with a rally command tag, trigger rally response effects of all allies in battle. And then the rally response, when other allies actively cast skills with the rally command, triggers the rally response effects of Maitha. Okay, so basically, yeah, it's just going to be you have the trigger and you have the response. So if Maitha triggers, if she uses a skill with the rally command, then other units that have a rally response will also react. Okay, let's go to 2 stars. She's going to increase max HP to 15%, and the damage buffer module additionally transfers 5% damage taken. So she can fill up the gauge more quickly. Rank 3, she makes a big jump. Max HP increased to 20%. Damage buffer module additionally transfers 10% of the damage taken. Sword of Convallaria Unite aura upgrades to level 2 effect. Increases co-op charging conversion ratio per stack to 0.3%. So she can increase her physical attack to a maximum of 30% at rank 3. So this Sword of Convallaria aura that upgrades to level 2 is going to... It's over here. It's going to... Everything stays the same, except you can, when rally response is triggered for the first time each turn, recovers 1 energy. So say for example she uses a rally command skill, and Nungal SP it will trigger Nungal SP's rally response. So Nungal SP will also do an attack. Then Nungal SP, whichever unit triggers rally response, will recover 1 energy. At rank 4, we increase max HP to 25%. Damage buffer module additionally transfers 15% damage. So both of those upgrade again. Sword of Convallaria upgrades again to level 3. So there's 3 upgrades in this rank at rank 4 as well. So you want rank 3, you want rank 4 as well. You also want rank 5. She's very hungry for ranks. At level 3, you can increase additional 10% damage and piercing damage if the rally response skill is triggered. So at rank 5, we have max HP increased by 30%, 20% transferred to the buffer module, reduces the energy cost of casting or triggering any skill by 1. And this is massive for Maitha SP. This is kind of the downside of this unit, I feel. I feel like until 5 stars, she's just not that great because of the fact that she cannot do anything on her first turn because she has such high energy requirements for her ultimate skill. She can't cast that skill on her first turn, so she can't do anything on her first turn basically, especially if you want to run auto teams that burst down the enemies. She doesn't fit into that team until 5 stars. She's very underwhelming at before 5 stars. On the first turn, she'll just walk up to an enemy slowly and be able to do nothing. Maybe punch an enemy or so. You could run some other skills, but those skills just don't have the damage. And so yeah, she's very hungry for resources. She's hungry for 5 stars, and she really needs this reduction in energy cost. I mean, you could run other allies that could maybe reduce her energy cost and things, but the problem is, you know, I'm talking about an auto team specifically. She's not going to be great until 5 stars. But at 5 stars, she will be good. We have nothing else changes there. We have conversion ratio of co-op charging increases to 0.5%. sorry, 0.4%. So you can increase your physical attack up to 40% if her gauge is full, for instance. Going on to her skills, this is the skill she comes with, just 1 energy cost, so it does piercing damage. She's all about piercing damage as well. Deals piercing damage equal to 50% of physical attack to all enemies in 3 tiles and knocks adjacent enemies back 1 tile. That's nice. It also has the rally response. So this, when enemies exist within 3 tiles of Maitha, she can consume 1 energy and trigger this skill. So basically what that means is, when it's not her turn and let's say for example Nungal uses a rally command skill, then this skill will also trigger on Maitha and she'll hit the enemies around her. So positioning is very important for this new mechanic for the game. I haven't played these units much. I'm more of a old school, I like to keep things simple. But these units, if you do figure out how to position them correctly, then you can pull off some cool moves. And so, yeah, this can be used as just a straightforward attack like that, or out of a turn, she can consume 1 energy as well to trigger this skill. Right, so at rank 1, she's got Bulwark Charge, piercing damage again. This one's a rally command, so this will trigger the rally response of other units. So it's a rally command, selects target to perform a charge. If the target is an enemy, charges to their side and deals piercing damage equal to 80% of physical attack. It's got an auxiliary passive, which increases movement by 1 tile. After an active attack, the character can move again for a distance equal to remaining movement. So this thing can be used to charge to enemies and to allies as well. And it's got the rally command tag, so if she just does this skill, then she can activate the attack, the rally response of any other units. Only 1 energy cost. I do wish this was an instant, and it's what they're calling an auxiliary passive, which belongs to active skills. Auxiliary passive effects, not a true passive. Not 100% sure what that is, we can check that out later. And I think it increases her movement by 1 tile. I'm not sure if that 1 tile is permanent, but she does really need movement because she's quite clunky and also a very slow moving unit in terms of her animation. On the right side we have Crystal Burst Twin Shot, 2 energy cost, piercing damage. This one is also a rally command. Also, I'm not sure if this translation is 100% complete. There could be mistakes. But I'm just assuming everything is correct here. So this one is a rally command. Single target attack. Deals piercing damage equal to 100% physical attack. If the character is in the same line as the target, additionally knocks the target back 2 tiles. After attacking, removes 50% of the current buffer value, then deals piercing damage equal to 50% of physical attack to all enemies within 1 tile radius of the target, and knocks enemies adjacent to the target back 1 tile. We'll have to test this out to see all these effects, but basically it's like an attack that can trigger other units as well, and it's also this attack can go off more than once depending on some criteria. If we go to rank 3 here, on the left we have Emergency Toolbox is your decision skill. You can use Field Repair Unit or Enhanced Charging Unit. So Field Repair Unit is an instant skill. Removes 50% of the current buffer value. Remember, that's the gauge that she has, that she charges up whenever she takes damage. So you remove 50% of your gauge and you recover 30% HP, damage reduction 2, regeneration 2, and healing received up to 2 for 2 turns. The other one is going to fill up your gauge for 50%, and you gain attack up 2, immunity to disrupt for 2 turns, and gains 50 stacks of co-op charging until the start of the next turn. And the co-op charging is just going to increase her physical attack a little bit. You get 50 stacks of that. We move to the right side, we've got Peak Performance, passive. I like this skill, especially as she has such high energy requirements for her ultimate skill. At the end of the turn, additionally recovers 1 energy. When energy is 0, additionally recovers another energy. Gains rally response. Effect triggers 1 instance of the skill's passive effect. So this is also a rally response, which means if a Nungal SP uses a rally command skill, this will trigger again, so she'll recover lots of energy. Having this on her will could keep her at max energy almost all the time. So like I said, she's not great before 5 stars because she can't do much on the first turn. But after the first turn, from the second turn, she can pretty much spam a 4 energy cost ultimate skill, I think every turn, if you're running this thing. And this thing is needed before 5 stars, I think. Let's move up to rank 5. For reactions, we have reinforced joints. When having regeneration, we know this instant skill can give a regen as well. Makes damage buffer module additionally transfer damage, converting every 10% regeneration effect to 5% buffer ratio. At the start of the turn, the character gains regeneration 1 for 2 turns. Okay, so this also gives a regeneration 1. So you get the regeneration 1, and then they're just going to increase your ability to increase her gauge much quicker. So not only does she increase the gauge from taking damage, she also increases it when she's getting regeneration. Just a little bit, but yeah. Spiky shield on the right. I don't know why you would run this. It's going to be a counter attack. Piercing damage equal to 50% of character's physical defense, which is not a lot. But the one on the left is good for her. Rank 7, we got Field Medic on the left. So this is another command, rally command. Removes all buffer value, so it just empties the gauge that she has, I think. Heals all allies within 3 tiles for 20% HP. I don't know whose HP, but anyway. And grants attack up to, physical defense up to, magic defense up to, regeneration 2 for 2 turns. It's got an auxiliary passive also. Takes 50% damage for allies within 3 tiles. After taking damage, if the damage buffer module is full, removes 30% of the current buffer value and recovers 30% lost HP, triggers 2 times per turn. So I use this skill, pretty cool skill. Like I said, she can't do much on the first turn, but if you put this skill in, she could at least do this and give your allies these benefits, which can help you on a couple of missions. A lot of buffs in there. Healing, but maybe we'll have to take a closer look at this skill because it's going to remove all buffer value. Takes 50% damage for sort of damage sharing as well. If the damage buffer module is full, that confuses me because we're emptying the module, so okay, we'll have to test that out. And then here's the ultimate skill she has. It's 4 energy cost, unfortunately. There is no cooldown on this, so you could spam it every turn. Piercing damage rally command. Selects 1 target location and deals piercing damage of 80% of physical attack to all enemies within 3 tiles. After attacking, removes 50% of the buffer value. Then makes all Sword of Convallaria allies perform additional rally response, dealing 50% physical attack. Piercing damage plus magic attack damage to enemies within 3 tiles of the character. Okay, so this skill is quite unique, I think, if I'm understanding this correctly. If she uses this skill, she's obviously going to do piercing damage in an AoE area. It's going to decrease her gauge by 50%. Then it's going to make all Sword of Convallaria units perform a rally response. So it doesn't matter if they have rally response or not, because not every unit has rally response. It's only these new units like Nungal, Feikal SP and Maitha SP herself. They have this rally response skill. But with this skill, if you cast it, any Sword of Convallaria unit can also do like an AoE attack around themselves, or 50% of their magic and their physical attack. Which is a little bit confusing because yeah, again, not every unit has rally response. It's only these 3 units that I know of that have rally response. But with this skill, it's gonna let anyone from Sword of Convallaria camp also do like an AoE attack, which is actually a bit confusing. But anyway, this skill is very unique in that sense. So I do like the height range of this as well. You got 8 height range that you have there as well. But again, this skill is difficult to use on an auto team because you can't use this on your first turn. It's just too expensive. Only at 5 stars. Then we go to rank 9 for basic attacks. Feverish attack on the left, not much to say there. Arm slam on the right, it's a rally command again. Single target attack, deals piercing damage equal to 80% of physical attack. Rank 11, we have this nice field aura that Momo has and Angel has as well. Decrease AoE damage, allies around you. And then on the right we have full armored Maitha attack. It's got a 3-turn cooldown. It is a passive that increases her speed by 200. I think this makes her the fastest unit in the game. Maybe. At the start of the turn, fills all buffer value. So yeah, there's a passive that's going to make her basically move first. And she'll start off with a full gauge already going into the battle. Now this skill you will equip depending on what skills you want to run on Maitha. Also depending on what rank your Maitha is. So if you want to run skills that require you to have this buffer value and things like that, this could be good. If you want Maitha to move first, this will be good. At rank 5 this could be decent, because at rank 5 she won't really have energy problems. So you could run this at rank 5 just so that she always has a full gauge and she starts first. You can run it instead of this energy recovery skill maybe. And before rank 5 maybe you want to run this energy recovery skill. But I could maybe see you running this at rank 5. Make her fast and fill the gauge. And then every 3 turns she'll fill up that gauge again. We look at a liberation or ascension skill. Physical defense increased 10%. Physical damage taken reduced by 10%. I feel like she does need this. She's taking damage a lot so that she can fill up a gauge. She's tanking a little bit. She's often going down to physical units, so this could help her. Alright, so let's take a look at Maitha in action and hopefully this will help us understand the skills better. Okay, so we begin the battle and this is the gauge that she starts off with. And so when she takes any damage, any kind of damage, it's going to fill this gauge up. As well as when she's regenning herself, if you're running that reaction skill, which you should be, then it will also increase this gauge up, and then this gauge will be converted into some physical attack for you, depending on what your rank is. Now, the initial skill she comes with is going to be the Whirlwind Hammer, which is nice piercing damage of 50% and knocks adjacent allies back by 1 tile. It also has the rally response effect. So this is a skill that will allow Maitha to react from a rally command instead of Maitha giving off the command. So let's just take a look at this. Right, so the next skill I want to look at is going to be this Bulwark Charge. It's a rally command, so if she does this, then Nungal, who has a rally response on her, she will be triggered. So you can charge, deal 80% damage there. It increases movement by 1. After active attack, the character can move again. So let's just take a look at Maitha here. Yeah, she's getting an extra movement of 1. I just want to make sure that this is a permanent increase of movement of 1 there, or if it's just a once off. So we can charge and then watch Nungal. So that triggered a response from Nungal there. Let me just do this again. So just take a look at Nungal. So if we do this bulk with charge, it's a command, so it's going to trigger a response. Triggers a response from herself as well as Nungal. You could see there it says response and response. So just so that you know, the response is only triggered for these units who have the response. Maitha has the response. I think now she triggered it on herself. Noongal has the response as well. So Noongal will also do another attack. But not on Inanna. Even though Inanna is Sword of Convallaria, she doesn't have skills with the response tag on it. So she didn't react from that. Let's just go on standby here. And just to demonstrate how Maitha reacts from a rally command. So Noongal also has rally command, so she can trigger Maitha. So let's use Noongal's ultimate skill here. There we have a rally response triggered on Maitha. So that's how you can trigger it on Maitha as well. So these two can really interact with each other, as well as Faekal. I think he also has both rally command and rally response. They can really interact with each other to perform those kinds of attacks. And we've got Inanna SP here as well. She is going to be benefiting as well from the leadership aura of Maitha, which is increasing damage dealt and piercing damage by 10%. Also, when rally response is triggered for the first time, each round recovers 1 energy. She doesn't have rally response, so I don't think this one applies to her, but she's getting that extra damage and piercing damage. She's also getting attacked by 10% and defense by 20%. Now the question is, can Inanna's leadership aura combine with this leadership aura? So let's test that out. I'm going to summon a flag. Remember, when we summon the flag, then she gives the leadership aura for Sword of Convallaria units as well, like 2 auras that she gives. So let's see what happens now. Okay, so we have Maitha's Unite aura there for Sword of Convallaria, and then we also have Inanna's Iria / Sword of Convallaria aura as well. For each 1 ally from these camps, you increase damage dealt by 3% up to a maximum of 15%. So I think some of the effects are overlapping. The 10% attack and defense by 20%, I think they're in both of her and Maitha's auras, and so they overlap. So only one will be used. But Inanna is giving us this aura here, and then Maitha is giving us this extra damage and piercing damage. So they can combine their auras, but if they have the same effects like the attack and defense, those only one will be used. And then we see on Maitha as well. Maitha has her own aura, and then she also has the aura from Inanna SP. Also, she's getting this effect for 1 turn from her signature weapon, increased damage and piercing damage. Right, so let's let Maitha take some hits here, so that she can fill up her gauge. She can't take too many hits though. Just bring her over there. Alright, so she took some hits. When she takes damage, she converts that into this gauge of hers. So it's filled up. It's filled up to 3,600. Okay, so with this damage, what she does is she's going to transfer some of this damage. She's going to convert that into co-op charging. And so she's got 39 stacks here. That's because she took that damage and she's filled up the gauge. So it's got 39 stacks. So for each stack, it's going to add 0.3% of her max HP to physical attack. So the higher a max HP is, the more it can convert into a physical attack. The higher this is, the more physical attack you can get. Okay, so now she can finally use her ultimate skill. We can show you that. It's 4 energy cost. And so this one is a rally command. Selects 1 target location, 80% physical piercing damage. After attacking, reduces the current buffer value by 50%, so the gauge will be halved. Then makes all Sword of Convallaria allies perform additional rally response. Right, so let's see how this thing goes off. We can maybe get her in position like this. And you know what? Let me move Inanna over there. trigger this thing over here. That's the AoE. She triggers the response there. So that was difficult to see what Inanna did. I'm just gonna go back again. Just do it from here. So it's a rally command. Yeah, 3 of them are triggered. All 3 of them were triggered, including Inanna, who doesn't have a rally response. But just because she's from Sword of Convallaria, that skill allows any of those units to trigger that. So this is why positional play is very important if you want to run this team. You can also use Sword of Convallaria units. I think I think Inanna fits in well. She's like a new strong unit. The older Sword of Convallaria units are not that great, but Maitha fits in well with this group. I keep mixing up their names, but Inanna fits in well with this group. So, you know, if you're playing with this team, you should, for example, have Inanna positioned over there, Nungal over there, and then you trigger that skill. And the cool thing is this skill can be triggered every turn if you have enough energy. And so, yeah, I guess in that sense, Maitha is quite strong. But on Maitha's own, she's not OP at all. It's just, if you play this correctly, I think it could be quite cool. Right, so there's 2 other skills I want to show you, and Maitha actually has a very high speed, 243, even without that other skill. She's moving first, even before Inanna. But let's just move her here. So she's got this other skill. It's also rally command, single target attack. If the character is in the same line as the target, knocks the target back 2 tiles. After attacking, reduces the current buffer values to the gauge by 50%. Then deals piercing damage equal to 50% of physical attack to all enemies within the range, and knocks adjacent enemies to the target back 1 tile. Okay, a lot's happening in here. You know what? Let me teleport Maitha over there so we can test this out a bit more. So we're in line, which means, you know what? Let's move this way. We're in line with this unit, so she should knock back 2 tiles. Yeah, I'm not sure why she didn't knock back there. Let's read that again. Right, rally command, single target attack, piercing damage. If the character is in the same line as the target, it additionally knocks the target back 2 tiles. Not sure why that didn't happen. After attacking, removes 50% of the buffer value, then deals piercing damage equal to 50% of physical attack to all enemies within 1 tile of the target. So we did do that 50% AoE damage after the attack, and knocks adjacent enemies to the target back 1 tile. Okay, so she had no adjacent units to her. Let me try this again. He has units adjacent to him. We'll see if she knocks them back. Yeah, so they do get knocked back, and then she triggers from herself and Nungal. She triggered the response because it's a rally command attack. So they both did a rally response attack after that as well. Okay, and the other skill that she has is just going to be this field medic attack up, defense up. Takes 50% damage for allies, reduces the current buffer value 30%, and recovers 30% lost HP. So yeah, this is a decent skill to run with her as well. It triggered Nungal's rally response there. Yeah, because it's a rally command. So another skill you can use to trigger Nungal or Faikal. So Maitha has plenty of skills. Most of them are usable. So in terms of what I would run on Maitha, I think again, if you're running her before 5 stars, I would run this energy recovery skill on her. Otherwise you won't be able to cast her ultimate more than once. So I would run this on her. And then I would run the ultimate skill, obviously. This one is very good for her. I think it's the highest damage, but this one will allow it to trigger the response for any unit, not just these special units. Any Sword of Convallaria unit will respond from this skill. I would run that. Although we are before 5 stars, so you can only run the ultimate on the second turn, unless you have an energy provider on your team. And then for the final slot, I would go for... maybe I would go for this support skill. This she can cast on her first turn if you wanted to support your allies. Here's another damaging skill with another rally command you could do. The one we just showed where she's knocking back a lot of enemies. And triggering the rally response of other units. You could run this as well. It's just not as much damage. But this is an alternative before 5 stars. Or you could run the bulwark charge to help her dash and trigger the response of other allies. But it's only going to be like a single target damage. I think this is not a bad skill to run on her for the extra movement. She does struggle with movement, so this will give her 4 movement and a bit of mobility to charge. So I think maybe I would run this, but it's very flexible. I could swap that out for this firecracker, for this rocket skill, for the support skill. Even if you wanted to, you could go for the full armored Maitha. Increases speed by 200. She's already the fastest unit in a lot of instances, but if you really wanted to go first, this one, and just to have the full gauge, maybe you could run this as well. But I think before 5 stars, these 2 skills you need to run on her. But this is just a suggestion, just to help you get started as well. And then if you are at 5 stars, I think you would maybe remove... You could maybe remove this energy recovering skill and give her this one so that she has that full gauge. Which again, if she has a full gauge, she's converting that into her physical attack. And then you're running the ultimate as well. Also, I haven't gone over the decision skill. That's another shout out as well. And the decision skill can help her recover some HP, sort of heal herself and get regen there. Or you can fill up the gauge by 50%, get attack up 2, if you wanted to run this as well. But let me just show you the ideal way that I think she needs to be played. So we're gonna run energy recovery, the healing skill, and then our ultimate. So maybe we could do something like this. Start off by buffing everyone. Okay, so on the second turn, finally Maitha has enough energy, so you can really see that energy recovery skill gives her lots of energy. She's also recovering 1 energy whenever she does a response. So yeah, so now we can finally use our ultimate skill. So yeah, we could, for example, position our units in the right place there, and then we can launch this full armored assault. That triggers everybody, including herself. So you really have to position correctly. And you can pull off something like that. Nungal perform her ultimate here. That will trigger... notice that Maitha didn't get triggered after Nungal performed a command skill. That's because Maitha currently, she's not running any skill that has the response on it. She's only has skills... Oh, actually I'm wrong there. This passive she has does actually have the rally response. So by Nungal doing that, it did trigger the energy recovery, but there was no actual attacks from Maitha because she doesn't have a response She doesn't have a skill with a response tag, just a rally command tag. But she did recover some energy there. Let me move Inanna over there. Alright, so now it's Maitha's turn again, and again she's still max energy, which is important to note. So that's how powerful this skill is for her, to keep her energy topped up, and then she can just keep spamming this thing and let all the Sword of Convallaria units, let them respond as well. I don't like that she's moving so fast. I would like to have Nungal, for example, or even Inanna move before her, so that they can position in the correct positions before she triggers this thing. But she's moving first now, so you can see Nungal's back there. Inanna's not in the correct positions yet, so her high speed is actually hurting her. But we can just spam this every turn now. So now I think Maitha would be great if she was at 5 stars. I would actually put her in my auto team maybe, because then she would be able to cast this big AoE skill of hers that triggers everybody. She'll cast that on the first turn, and in your auto team you want to burst the enemy down your first team. So 5 stars she would be great for that, but before 5 stars she's not getting anywhere near my auto team. But other than that, you can see she's still quite powerful in terms of what she's doing here. And that skill, just keeping her energy full all the time, is going to be really good for her. Remember, she's also giving this this Sword of Convallaria aura, which is when rally response is triggered for the first time each turn, recovers 1 energy. So she's recovering an energy here as well, in addition to the energy she's recovering here. That's why she's staying at 5 energy every turn. And naturally, she's recovering another energy. I think this is 3 energy per turn. So that's so important for her. Yeah, but this video is gonna run very long. There's so much to cover with this unit. I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. We just go into the strengths and weaknesses chart, and then I may add some additional information in another video that we can look at Maitha as I learn the unit more as well. But I hope this helps you understand Maitha a lot better. Okay, so for Mecha Maitha, here in the left corner here, you can see quite a decent unit. Quite solid all around if you compare it to some of the other units. Camelot next to her, Inanna as well. I think she's also quite a strong unit. So yeah, this is gonna be just the first time I'm creating a score for her. So I'm probably gonna update this as I figure out more. But if we just start off here, we can just see. For DPS, I've given her an 8 there, solid 8. In terms of the damage that she's contributing, you know, a lot of other allies as well that are acting because of her rally command. Also, she's doing piercing damage, which is great. Primarily piercing damage. And then for AoE, I've given her another solid 8 there. Nice AoE skills that she has. She's also triggering AoE from other allies as well. For support, I've given her a 7. She pushed that up to an 8, maybe a 9 if you consider that. If you consider the command that she's commanding other allies, if you consider that as support, maybe you can make it a 9 or so. But nice support skills. One like a combo is where she's giving all those magic physical defense, all those buffs, regen and things like that. And then her leadership auras as well. For debuffs, I'm not sure if she has debuffs, so I've just marked it as a 3. I think she barely has any debuffs in the kit. She's not really made for debuffing. Tank, I've given her a 7. Maybe you could argue for an 8. The reason I've given her a 7 is her base physical defense stat isn't the highest. And she does go down fairly easily if you just lead with her as your tank. She does have a high HP stat, and especially as she goes up in ranks, that can go up maybe. So maybe a 7 or an 8 there. Speed, whatever, given her a 7. Actually push that speed up to an 8. I think it should be maybe 9 or 10 if you're running that rank 11 skill where she increases the speed by additional 200. I think that makes her the fastest unit in the game. If she has that, then you can maybe argue for higher speed there. She is fast, and like I said, I don't actually like that she moves first. You can also, you know, use Nungal to trigger the command responses and things, but it's only, as far as I know, Maitha that can trigger rally response for Sword of Convallaria units, regardless if they have that tag or not. That's why I think she should be slower, so that you can position your units first before doing that. The movement's not great, just 3 tiles. Unless you're running that passive skill, then it can go up to 4 tiles, so she feels clunky, she feels difficult to get around the map. I think they've increased her walking animation speed, because it feels faster than before. Like, she felt really slow when she was walking, which is kind of annoying. For range, I've given her a 7 here. I'm still figuring these things out, but I think 7 is decent for her. And then for auto, I've only given her a 6, because I think she's not great on auto until 5 stars. That's why I've given her a low score here. But if she does get to 5 stars, you can argue for a higher score here, I think. I mean, on auto, she's not really doing much. She's just casting that fireworks ultimate skill of hers. That's about all she can do. She's just spamming that. And on auto team, you're not really, you know, you can't really position units if you're running on auto in order for that skill to work effectively. So yeah, not the best on auto. Getting a 6 there. For team player, 10 out of 10. I don't think you get a better team player than Maitha SP, because she is coordinating attacks with different teammates, and Maitha is all about her teammates. So I don't think that she's broken or OP or really powerful on her own, but I think her power comes from the fact that she is a team player and she's connecting with other units. That in that sense, it makes her very strong. So I think she's the ultimate team player, and that's what they've designed this character to play as that team. And then we have resource investment. I've given her 10 out of 10 here, unfortunately. I think she's very hungry for resources. I think she really does need 5 stars, so that ultimate skill only costs 3 energy, and then she can cast that on her first turn. Then you can run on auto. If there is another way before 5 stars to run that skill on the first turn, let me know. But I think she really does need 5 stars. She actually needs all stars. She needs 3 stars, she needs 4 stars, and then she needs 5 stars. So each of those stars gives her great benefits. And she's resource investment in terms of you also need to invest in other allies to make her good. You need to invest in pulling for Nungal SP. I mean, you don't have to, but without them, you know, she's just gonna be on her own. Fakal SP, I'm not interested in that unit, but I think he could also work well, the 3 of them together. Otherwise, you run other Sword of Convallaria units. Another thing I didn't mention is some units are getting response tagged skills as well in their ascension skills. So like Momor, etc. Some old Sword of Convallaria units will also be getting new skills that will allow them to have that response as well. So she can also function with them. But yeah, a lot has to be invested and built around Maitha SP. For difficulty, I'm tempted to give her like a 9 here. Or it's taken me a while to finally just try and figure this unit out, because again, it's not just her, it's the whole team, and it's very wordy to understand her, and then you have to build completely different type of team around her. And then who has response, who has command, you know, you need to keep track of all these things. And why do some Sword of Convallaria units also respond, but they don't have the tag? So yeah. It takes some investment in terms of figuring it out. Cool or not, I've given a 9. I think people could argue for maybe a 10 here. I personally wouldn't be that upset if I missed this unit. Maybe that's just me. I prefer just, you know, the auto team, just let them old school auto teams, just no nonsense auto teams, instead of this, you know, team where you have to like figure so many things out and put units here and there and who runs with who. I prefer just the Camelot team that just shreds the team on the first turn. So yeah, I mean, but if you do go and invest in this unit and things, you see how powerful this team can be, especially when they're pulling off all those attacks together. I also think that Maitha is maybe worth pulling over the other units, the other three, because again, she has that ultimate skill that can make all Sword of Convallaria units attack as well, do an AoE attack. But I'm not sure of the other units if they also have that. I feel like Maitha is the core of this team. But you could, for example, skip Veikal or Noongal, but I think Maitha is the best one to choose out of all three, if you had to choose. Future Proof, so also a solid 9 there. Again, more units are coming out that actually accommodate this new mechanic, the response and the command mechanic. So yeah, I think there's still more coming along for Maitha SP. Anyway guys, I hope you made it this far. It is a lot. Hope I made it a bit easy for you. And take care and God bless.